Welcome back, guys. So, like I said, we have a special guest here today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, guys. Good. That doesn't matter. My name is special guest, and Gianangelo Obiumahi. I am this beautiful lady's husband,
Oh my God! Wow!
and
Do you have proof?
yeah, that's all I do really for a living. I'm just married.
You're just married. Okay, if you say so. Well, like I said, we're going to be answering some questions, but before we do that, I wanted us to talk about our proposal because I got a few DMs of people asking me about, oh, how was it? Because they had read the story on Bella Ninja, so they were like, oh, from like a more intimate perspective, can you give us? Because you know when you read stuff and it all sounds like a storybook, and you're just like, oh my God, this story is also mad. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, they wanted to know more about it and just from the horse's mouth, basically. So I thought I'd bring this
My makeup, please.
this person on here and we can just basically talk more about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Great. So the first part I wanted to talk about because whenever I watch proposals, like stories and stuff, how we met and all those things on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think they always focus about on the day and stuff, and that's all well and good. But for those of you watching and for us, we know that our like relationship till date has only been by the grace of God and God's favor, and just the fact that we see God's hand on everything every day. So I wanted us to talk about the God aspect, not necessarily about the lovey-dovey aspect, because you can read that on Bella Ninja because it's there. But I wanted us to talk about the God aspect, talk about how far he actually brought us and some of the hurdles we had to face before we got to the proposal. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Great. So my first question, when we first met, and we were talking about, when we were going to get married and stuff, like one of the things people talk about when they first meet, how long do you want to wait till you get married? All those things. And I told you that I wasn't really thinking of getting married yet. My plan was like for us to get married in like 8 to 9 years. 8 to 9 years. How did that make you feel?
Okay.
And how did you deal with it?
Right. So I was very adamant when we met. I think I actually scared her off a little bit, so because I must have been 19, she was 18, I think. And I was sure, I was like, you know what, the next lady is going to be my wife. So I met this, Daniela came, she's in first year of university. She was in her first year. I was in my second year of university. Yeah. And so I just met her, and then very quickly in that conversation, I'm like, you know what, let me make it clear. I wasn't the guy who just meets you on the first day. I was like,
God said I should marry
good morning. Jesus spoke to me, my dream. No, that's not how it happened. I was, romantic and dates and, those things. I mean, she would say I was all right, but she knows. I mean, she's here today to testify that was awesome. But anyways, I think I was very sure in my mind, I spoke to a number of people, mentors, leaders, people, that I looked up to and told them about this lady, and my thoughts about her and things like that. And I really prayed about it. It wasn't a very straightforward decision, but when I was sure, I was sure. And I thought, let me just tell her. I think I laid it on easy, but fair enough, she was a bit scared. But I wanted us to just go ahead and, just look towards marriage. I don't believe in aimless dating. Yeah. I didn't believe in it. I just like, if we're going to do this, we're going to get to know each other on a courting basis. Yeah. I wasn't too deterred. I mean, I could tell that you felt that way because you were just, concerned. It seemed like a bit, like it was just like so sudden or something like that. So it didn't really affect, honestly, I didn't actually go home and think, oh, she doesn't feel the same way. I didn't think about it at all. So I just thought, this is a phase. I thought you would just get over it. So yeah, I don't know. And I did get over it. I didn't think too deep.
It wasn't like, yes, it was a phase, but it was mostly, I think for me, it was about mindset. I had to deal with a lot of, because I come from a single parent household and I'd seen like how marriages could not work in terms of, family and stuff. It was kind of a fear of, oh my God, I don't want to get married early and, then it doesn't work out and this. I really want to take my time. But it was something God had to like deliver me from. And I'm glad he did because now I'm sitting next to you as your wife. So,
Yeah, you're so happy. as you can tell.
Okay. So when did you say, this is the time to propose? When was the light bulb moment for you? Because I feel like women always want to know this. When was it? When did you say, at this point in time, I'm going to just propose to this babe?
Okay.
Obviously, from the first day you met me. You can just lie for them small.
Yeah, guys, for the first day, I looked upon her face. I pictured it. Okay, on a serious note, I mean, for me, it was just, I said earlier, I was going to get there anyways. So for me, it wasn't so much a light bulb moment. It was almost like a build up from the beginning to when it was going to be that time. So for me, the moment we had some kind of an agreement on when we wanted to actually get married, I just calculated the best time, at least a year before that. In fact, just so I had enough time to plan the wedding, and finish uni, before I proposed. So for me, it was more functional. If we wanted to get married in 2018, I would have calculated it back and proposed in 2017 because I knew what I wanted. So it wasn't so much, we stayed there. I was like, this is the moment. It was kind of like, okay, we're ready to get married. So track back, I'm going to propose now. So I was looking forward to it for a long time. I mean, I bought the ring, I don't know, was it 7 months or 6 months before the actual proposal? So yeah, I was there basically.
See, so for all of you that message me telling me you're in 8 years relationship and you have not proposed yet, they always know from the beginning. Don't let them deceive you. Just know now. Word of warning, or what did they used to call it? Something shall warning. So how was the actual day for you? Because obviously for me, I didn't know that I was going to get proposed to. I thought it was Sarah's birthday that I was planning, so I was just there doing my thing. And then when you proposed, it was really like I saw everything. Then I was like, oh my gosh, ran away, came back. Then I was really overwhelmed. And then from the feeling overwhelmed, then I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Then, I cried, I prayed, I thanked God and all of that. But for you, from the beginning of the day to when I said yes, how was it for you?
So I don't really like planning events. So it wasn't very, there was a lot of planning, a lot of calling, a lot of, organizing. I hate anything to do with decoration. Daniela has really great friends, so
I do.
They really helped out, but we had people around us that were just awesome. We have great friends, some couples, some single, that were just really helpful. So, but for me, it was just, it was fine up until when I was actually about to, go on one knee, and then I speak a lot. I don't really mind speaking publicly or whatever. So, but at that moment, it was very. I was just tense. Like I could feel like my hands sweating, and I was wondering. I was like, "What is going on? Like, am I ill? Am I sick?" You know what I mean? Like, this is not meant to happen. I have known that I would do this, so why, And then I was actually, how you have these build up to when you say, would you marry me? You're saying all these things about. I was saying it in my throat. She doesn't actually know. Today, she doesn't know what I said. I was saying,
no, I actually don't.
I called it.
Honestly, I rewatched. Sorry, babe, but I rewatched the proposal video, and I can swear you're talking to yourself because not hearing what. All I heard was my name, you on your knees, and the ring.
She did not hear me because I wasn't speaking out loud enough. She didn't not hear me, or she didn't hear me rather, because she was overexcited. Whenever Diana gets excited, the world becomes like just a plane. She doesn't really. But anyways, but for real though, my voice was like going inside. It was kind of like, I was like, Daniela, General, Alaribe, you will mean the world. And I was just, so it was great. And then at that moment, it was horrible. And then when I was done, and she, until today, I'm not really sure whether she said yes, but she just took the ring. But we'll get there. We kind of moved on.
Yes.
And then it was great. We met friends and we laughed and it was a lot, it was fun. But there was that moment was sweating,
Why did we wait for over a year from when you proposed to me to when we got married?
this sounds like you're blaming me. I don't know. Is it? What do you guys think? I think that was a very. I'm joking. I think it was. I think it was functional. You know. You know. It was. It was just the best time to to allow that, because obviously I was also in school, so we needed to work out the summertime, which is the best time to do it. And that year, the summertime was election in Nigeria, and election year in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria, we're getting there. We're getting there, but it's just a bit difficult to do in that kind of time, because things can happen, and there could be problems. So we just decided to, because I think it was a functional reason. So yeah, it's functional. It works best 2020.
I've seen people. Okay, this is where the question came from, because I've seen people get engaged. You've gone through years of being together, and I've never understood it. Then you're engaged, and then at some point, either the guy or the girl calls off the engagement, and they're like, "We are no longer doing it." And I'm just like, you've dated for so long. Now you are engaged. You're planning your wedding. How do you now look at this person and say, "I no longer want to do"? Like, it has never really, I've never really understood it. But my question to you is, at any point during the planning process, did you ever think, no, I don't think this is the right thing for me to do? And we're already married, so even if you say something, it won't even vex me, because half your ring.
I think I don't remember a time like that, in all honesty. But being, very upfront, were there times in the relationship where I was frustrated, I don't know if I want to do this, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, it's not straightforward. So there were definitely times where I was just tired, I don't want to do this, but it wasn't, for me, I think those times, they are part of what the journey is about. So for me, it was because I knew why I was doing this. I just had to remind myself why. I come back to God. I had to just say, God, I prayed about this. I was certain about this. What do you think I should do? And oftentimes I needed to change something, or I needed to see something different, or I needed to be patient with you, or whatever. And eventually, I mean, it did work out. But there were moments, that came up where it was just very frustrating.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say there were many moments where it was frustrating to the point of I don't want to do this. But there were definitely some. Yeah.
I think the thing for me is that I don't really like too much stress like that. So I do agree with you that they were get out. I do agree with you that they relationships are not easy at all. But I think those moments actually determine a lot in your relationship, where it's really frustrating, and you're like, oh my God, this is just too frustrating. What is this? And then something in your mind is not saying, why are you frustrating yourself? Why are you stressing yourself? Just carry your bag and be going. I think in that moment, it really tests how much you not only love the person, but you're really willing to fight and work for your relationship. And I think that those are the moments that actually define what love is. It's not the feeling, it's not the all of that. It's the choice that you make in the hardest moments to still keep fighting. To me, that is love. And even though those moments came up for me, I'm glad that I kind of chose to keep fighting, because now we're here. And Lord will keep us for another 150 years. Amen. Yeah. Wishing you a happy married life. How are you able to keep yourself and still get a good man? I keep keeping myself, but I can't even find a good man. They all leave me when I tell them I'm waiting. Oh. So can I answer this one first? And then you can give your thoughts after. Yeah. Okay, so my thoughts. People always ask questions with the answers right in them. Gosh, you keep keeping yourself, and you are trying to find a good man. And you know what? I know people always, a few people have asked me, how did you, honestly, how I did it is by the grace of God, because there were times where I was just like, you fine, take off your clothes, let's do it now. Not in those exact words, but we're human. Like, I think Nigerians say, but be firewood. So like, we're human. So, at some point you're like, oh my God, this person is really attractive. I want to just get with them. But by the grace of God, you stay apart and you set boundaries and all of those things. And we'll talk about that more later. But your answer is actually in your question, in my opinion, because you said you want to find a good man. You keep telling this man that you want to abstain. Well, then the man is not for you. Like, if you want to abstain and he doesn't want to abstain, just simply part ways. You will find yourself a good man who believes in the same values as you if you put your values first rather than trying to compromise to find a good man. That's my answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of like saying, hey, I would like to eat, but I can't really find a decent restaurant. The only food I find is in the bin. What do you think I should do? Should I eat the food? Because I'm hungry. I think the answer, and I'm not saying that to mock the question. I think the answer really, is drive a bit further. Maybe you might find the right restaurant. Maybe you might, you're not going to eat something that's going to cause you more harm than good. So, so I agree with the concept of if you trust that, the Bible says that God has a plan for us. If you trust that God has a plan, then it may not be right now, but eventually the plan will work out and you will find the right person.
My pastor says, the Bible says that same. God has a plan. I like you. Keep preaching. It's good. It's a good song.
That was not even a message. Okay, most important aspect of the wedding. Wow. I think it was probably the first part, so the joining, in the church and things like that. I'm not really big party, event person. So I'm very extroverted, but in like a very big event, eventually I'm just a bit tired. Especially when I'm the center of the event, you're smiling all day. So for me, that was the more stressful part, But the part I looked forward to a lot was the beginning, the church service, the joining. So yeah, that was it for me. That was really important.
I think, okay, so let's be, we're being truthful Christian, no lie. So I think for me, before the whole coronavirus thing started, what I was looking forward to was the after party. Not like the ceremony was important. Do you get what I mean? The ceremony was important. The actual reception bit was great, but he's extroverted. I'm like,
Diana just wanted to eat. She was like,
she actually that after party bit, you're not doing any hi auntie, hi uncle. You're just sitting down and eating. I remember Glory sent me a video of a bride who was changing at the back and she was yamming food and she was like, "This is you." I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So that was actually what I was looking forward to, if I'm being honest, because we were picking some great meals. But then, when we were now planning the intimate wedding and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I'm really excited for the church ceremony, because then it would actually be about me and him, like not just the church ceremony and the reception and all of that stuff and what we always see on a day-to-day basis, but actually it being about, because the only people that were there were the closest of the closest family members, like the people that gave birth to us, our parents, and then my grandma. But it was literally so intimate that we knew that it was really going to be about us, about God's will for that day. So yeah, it became my favorite part of the whole thing. I was really looking forward to it. I was like, oh, everything had to be nice and perfect and stuff. It surpassed my expectations, but yes, I was definitely looking forward to that. What advice do you have to give me regarding planning and handling the stress of the big day?
I wasn't stressed. I don't know. I think that was actually the most annoying thing.
The truth is that what you were doing was stressing me. Let's be honest.
I just don't really get stressed about events.
It was stressing me because I wanted him to be stressed about specific parts of the thing, and he wouldn't get stressed. He would be there because he never gets stressed, and it's so frustrating for me because I get stressed about everything. I'm just like, oh my God, is the cake right? Oh my God, is the flour right? Oh my God, is the and he's just like, don't worry, babe, it will work out. I'm like, I'm not saying it won't, but stress is me. So, for me that was the stress. But weirdly enough, how I handled it was good to be around you because then he put me into
Really?
yes, even get out.
It's really good for you.
Oh gosh, get out. He put me into perspective because then he was like, oh, when he's saying to all work out, in that moment I'm just like, please, like, we'll move. But it actually did all work out, and just remembering that later on when I'm on my own and I remember, okay, he actually said it will work out. It's actually true, it will all work out. It kind of calmed me down. So that was good. And another way I handled the stress was by crying. Oh my God. Especially when we decided that we were going to have a small, you know what? Let me not even start talking.
Her hobby is crying. She cries. It's a hobby. Honestly, at the beginning of the relationship, I thought it was me. But halfway through the relationship, I was like, I just think this is what she
It's
does.
a good distressor. Just sit there and just start crying. Because I'm not just like crying for crying's sake. Like for me, it's another form of communication to God. I can just because I'm sure somewhere in the Bible he can tell you because he knows the Bible. But I'm sure somewhere in the Bible talks about how he even understands, your words that and all. I'm sure they are there somewhere. I'm not sure if it's a real Bible verse. I feel like somebody said it and I was like, oh yeah, this should be a Bible verse, and then I claimed it as a Bible verse. But I know he understands like my words, they're not actually words, they're just tears onto him. So sometimes when it's just becoming too much and I don't know what to say, I'll just start breaking down and crying because I just know he understands. So that was a good way of handling the stress as well, because I would just be like, but God, cry. And then I'll cry maybe for like an hour. Then I'll feel so great and so bright. I'll just be laughing and smiling. Oh God, it was great. But yeah, that's how I handled my stress. He didn't get stressed. So. Is it okay to be intimate with your partner before marriage?
What are you? What's going on?
Because okay. The reason I'm asking is because I feel like the version doesn't actually mean intimacy. I think they mean sex. So it's making me laugh because our generation thinks intimacy is sex. So
Yeah, my answer is yes, obviously it's depending on the definition of what you mean by intimacy. So I think there's no point going to a relationship or even I was about to say even worse, but much less a marriage without having some kind of intimacy with the person you're going into it. So I think you should define what intimacy is for you guys. I think the problem arises where which is exactly the antithesis of what we're meant to be doing. You're so focused on not doing something wrong that you don't actually spend enough time thinking of what you can do right, how you can spend time, how you can fill your time. I think, a lot of the issues that we have, with premarital days, sex and all that, I think a lot of the issues we have, sometimes it's just, just idleness. You have nothing else to do. So, so that's pretty much the only focus. And not that even if you filled your whole day, it would be easier. I'm not saying it's easier, but what I'm saying is, be intimate in other ways. Ask each other questions, date each other, go out, stuff like that. So, I think yes, it's good. Based upon your definition.
I'd say yes. I agree with you. About building intimacy in more than just the bang bang. Because after you're married, then also you just going to be having sex. Keep saying this. You're gonna have to have conversations. So building intimacy in those ways, definitely. Yeah. But then if you mean sex, then our answer is no. And I speak for the both of us. So how are you certain your husband your husband was the one? I think the peace that comes with the relationship, and also the word of God says iron sharpeneth iron. So the fact that he was sharpening me in not just my walk with God, but in terms of intellect as well, he was, motivating me to be better than I actually was in terms of my finances, in terms of my career, in terms of how I even relate to people, my relationships. He was challenging me to be better. And then there was just peace. Like, nobody has time for stress, honestly. Like, both male and female, nobody actually has time for stress. So there was just peace in the relationship. So that's, for me, that's how I knew. And then if you're asking about the God aspect, yes, I dreamt. Yes, the Lord spoke. Yes, all of that. But there was peace. I think sometimes people were waiting for the dream and the dream never comes. But is there peace in the relationship? If there is, then yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think I won't even repeat what she said. I'd say something different. I think another thing was also just studying the relationship, and asking myself questions, because sometimes people ask the other person so many questions,
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And, you're trying to, poke, but I think asking myself certain questions, she's answered this question, but what was your response to the answer? I think sometimes because of, being love struck or whatever, we can overlook certain things that might be red flags or deal breakers.
Yeah.
But when she says something, I have to say to myself, okay, what do you think about that? Can you manage that? Can you live with that? Are you happy with that? Are you going to be patient with that? Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So because I did that, I had to go through the journey in my mind.
Good morning, sis. So how do I deal with male friends that show interest in me, like attitude, but don't talk? Oh gosh, I really try not, I'm not even, guys, because I laugh doesn't mean I'm laughing at your questions, but I'm trying to not just, our generation is just so messed up. Honestly, it's literally so messed up. My love, I'm not even going to get him to answer this. I'm just going to say this. My love, okay? If he's not bold enough to come to you and talk to you as a man and show his interest, then he's not worth your time. Please stop thinking about him and move on. Because if he's showing you attitude, but he can't, what nonsense attitude, but he can't come up to you and say, hi, I like you, you're giving me attitude, then you're not worth my time, you're not worth my air, and you're not worth my thoughts. Thank you very much. So last question. What advice do you have for people in relationships? One advice, I'll preach just one advice.
Okay. I think we've said this quite a lot of times. So I'll just repeat it. You have to keep talking. And I think it's a 3-part conversation. You have to keep talking to yourself. You have to keep talking to the person. And you have to keep talking to God.
So I would say that my advice would be actually give each other space and allow each other to do things on your own. So explore your alone time. I think it's really important. Sometimes people get on top of each other in relationships and they always want to spend time together and this, that, and the other. And I was like that too. I wanted to spend time with you because I enjoy your company. But actually, take time out for yourself and learn new things about yourself, because that's the only way you can actually be a good partner to the person, by giving yourself, you can only give the best of yourself by being the best to yourself. Does that make sense? So yes. So thank you for sticking to the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, to comment. What else did I say? But don't forget to do all of it, and we really appreciate it, guys. We really do appreciate it. And don't forget, as much as we love you, God loves you way more. Yes. God bless you. Bye. Okay, bye.